The final minute of Paradise Season 2, Episode 5 completely flips the episode on its head. For most of this episode, Gary, the mailman, he comes across like a quiet, awkward survivor who just wanted to help everyone. But in the last moments, we learned something chilling. Gary murdered his own friend Enos just to keep Teri from leaving because he was in love with her. And now Gary has confessed his love to her husband, Xavier. Which raises a huge question. Does Xavier realize that Gary can't be trusted? The episode quietly drops several clues that Xavier might already be on to him. So today we're breaking down 5 clues you may have missed that suggest Xavier knows Gary is extremely dangerous. We'll also talk about one subtle clue that I noticed in this episode that may connect to the whole time travel and quantum entanglement themes that the writers seem to be hinting at all season long. But before we get started, let me introduce myself if you're new here. And if you're not new here, then welcome back. My name is Brandi, and I realize that you could be on any channel in the world, but you're right here with me, and I really do appreciate that. So please go ahead and like this video. It really does help the channel out, and I greatly appreciate it. And also subscribe to the channel if you do enjoy watching TV show reviews and also movie reviews. So we only have 3 episodes left of Paradise Season 2, and that makes me extremely nervous. We know that the writers, they introduced this concept of time travel, quantum entanglement, multiverse maybe, in the first 4 episodes of Season 2. Now, in this episode, we didn't get a lot of hints at time travel. We didn't get to see Link. We didn't see Xavier having any visions. But I did notice one subtle clue that lends itself to time travel.
I'm Dr. Teri Collins, mycologist. I study mushrooms.
Mushrooms, fungi, spore, fungal networks, they are a common trope in sci-fi, horror, or mystery shows. So Teri having this extensive knowledge of mushrooms will somehow save the day, especially since I'm suspecting that Project Alex will have some negative consequences. I think down the line that Teri will be able to use her knowledge of mushrooms to alter reality and to change timelines as well. Somehow, some way through a fungal network. Listen, I don't want to get too complicated on you because I do think that Paradise Season 2 is becoming a little bit complicated, but I'm still excited that my girl Teri has this expertise, and again, just happy that they're going down a whole sci-fi route. Now, switching gears here, let's look at the clues that Xavier saw where he should not trust Gary at all. Now, clue number 1 is the group photo. If you look at this group photo, you see that everyone is looking directly at the camera except for Gary. Who is Gary looking at? Gary is looking directly at Teri, and it's giving creepy. It's giving obsessed. Bro, why aren't you looking at the camera? So I know for sure that Xavier, being a smart guy that he is, he had to observe that little detail as well. Also in this group photo, you see that Gary's arm is around Bean, and you also see that Teri's hand is on Bean as well. And it looks like they're almost a couple, like mom, dad, and son. Especially since Xavier asked Gary how long ago was the picture taken, and Gary said it was taken the day before Teri was taken from him. He says they took her from me and they took our boy. Like Gary really thinks in his head that Teri and little Bean are his family. And I'm sure that Xavier picked up on that cue, but he's just playing it cool for now. Now, the second clue that I'm sure Xavier noticed was the can of beans when he first walked into the bunker. The first thing Xavier does is he grabs the can of beans and he looks inside of it. And I wish we could have saw inside of it too. But also within the background of the frame, you see that there are bottles of water there. There are supplies. And Gary mentioned to Xavier that the guys, they took everybody and they even took his weapons. So why is it in this post-apocalyptic world that these men, dangerous men, will not take all of the supplies? I mean, we just saw on the last episode that Xavier had to eat rat for breakfast along with Annie. People are in dire need of food, so why wouldn't they take the can of beans that was right there? And the writers made it a point to show that can of beans twice in this episode. We saw when Gary was helping little Bean learn how to open up the can of beans, and then we saw the can of beans right there on the table. So to me, that was a significant clue. And clue number 3 occurred at the swap meet, and I'm sure that Xavier clocked this as well. Why did Gary say this was his first time at the swap meet? If your friends go missing, they've been missing for about 12 days at this point, allegedly taken by men, according to Gary, right? And he didn't go out into the extended community and go ask for help. We see that people there at the swap meet, they knew Teri. So why didn't Gary go to the swap meet to go get help? And I'm pretty sure that Xavier clocked clue number 4, when Gary was telling a story to Jackie and Crystal at the swap meet as well. He was saying that he really wasn't present when the men came to take Teri and the others, that he came back and they were gone. Huh? You just told Xavier a different story just a few hours ago. But Xavier, he didn't pull his card right there. Again, he just played it cool. He's going along with everything. Mind you, Xavier is a Secret Service agent and he's very smart. So he's just not letting Gary know that he's on to him. And the 5th clue that I know Xavier had to pick up on is when Jackie and Crystal told him that they would read bedtime stories to little Bean when Teri's back was out. Her back was out for maybe about 3 days and she wasn't able to read to little Bean, but she allowed Jackie and Crystal to do the bedtime stories for him. And we see later that Xavier has a conversation with Gary about that, because Gary asked Xavier, like, hey, why did you leave Annie's baby behind with Jackie and Crystal? How could you trust them with the baby where you won't even let me hold the baby? I could barely even look at the baby. And Xavier told Gary, like, listen, I trust them. If Teri trusts them enough to let them read to Bean, then I trust her as well. So in Xavier's head, I know the wheels were turning when he had that conversation with Jackie and Crystal. So right then and there, Xavier's probably like, listen, I can't trust this guy if my wife didn't allow him to read to Bean. And this guy is telling me that he's my wife's best friend, that they were partners. She was like a sister to him. Then why didn't you read to Bean? Because Teri did not trust him. And there were other little breadcrumbs that Gary left behind too that showed that he was suspicious. I mean, hey, Xavier was hostile towards Gary the entire time. But that raises a huge question for me. Not really a plot hole, but more so a speed bump. If Xavier is as smart as this show is telling us that he is, then why isn't he clocking that Jane is dangerous as well? I mean, we saw it time and time again that Xavier trusts Jane, even around his family. And Xavier not being perceptive of Jane is just one thing that bothers me about this show. But I hope that down the line, maybe in season 4, because again, it's still just 3 episodes left in season 2, maybe we'll find out that Xavier is privy to Jane in her dangerous ways. Next question, what happened to the other people in the bunker, the survivalists, the carpenter, and Ruth the gardener? Is Gary holding them hostage somewhere along with Teri and Bean? It's like they just poof disappeared, and I know that we're all asking, where is Teri, where is Bean, but where are the other folks as well? Why was Teri so shocked when Gary was reading off of his little flashcards? I thought he was so sweet at that time. That was the beginning of the episode. Why was she so shocked when he said that they couldn't leave the bunker for 21 days and that they could expect to be living at the post office for 3 to 5 years? I mean, we saw that Gary was listening to the news. We saw Enos listening to the news as well. I'm like, why wasn't Teri privy to this information? Did she not know what she was getting herself into when she got into that mail truck after Gary told her that they have a safe place to go? Xavier didn't give you a hint. Something about that just didn't sit well with me, and it makes me want to rewatch the episode where Xavier was actually on the other line of the phone talking to her right before she met with Gary. Now, as far as Teri's whereabouts, I don't know why I'm thinking that Gary has her holed up somewhere in that post office, because the writers made it a point to mention twice how thick the post office walls were. And I think that they weren't just reiterating that that particular post office was a fallout shelter, but they said it twice for some reason. They had Gary say it twice, actually. So I'm thinking that A, Gary has them hidden away in a post office somewhere, or maybe once Bean witnessed Gary kill Enos, maybe he fled to Teri, he told Teri what happened, and maybe they just ran somehow and got on the train. Which leads me to think that Gary is really just trying to get his family back. He's trying to get Teri and Bean back, and he's trying to get Xavier killed. So again, hopefully Xavier did clock all of the clues. I'm pretty sure he did, but I think Gary is trying to set up Xavier to get murked. And the last question I had was, who is Bean? We meet somebody else that has a nickname. We do not know this fella's real name, and I really don't think that they divulged his age as well. So I'm thinking, is Bean a time traveler? Is Bean a younger version of Billy? I'm definitely not sure at this point whatsoever, but it was just a question I had while I was watching this episode. Who is Bean and what is his real name? And the last thing I'll say, it's not a question, it's just a comment. I think that Teri and Xavier's love for each other is beautiful. And I love their soul ties. I think it's so crazy how Xavier is the caretaker of Annie's baby and Teri is the caretaker of Bean. So now their little family of 4 might potentially be a family of 6 if both of them keep the children. Although they aren't together right now, but I just thought their love for each other and their similarities really shine through, and that they both took in a young person. But nonetheless, guys, comment down below. Let me know what clues you saw. Let me know if you have any theories down below. Also, I just started watching the show From on MGM because somebody commented, a few people actually commented on one of my last Paradise reviews, like, did you watch From? This show is becoming like From. So I had to go and watch From, and oh my God, that show is so good. So I will be reviewing season 4 when it comes out. I believe it comes out April 19th. So I'm so excited for From. Just wanted to say that. So make sure you subscribe, turn your notifications on. And if you made it this far in the video, do me a favor and drop me down a pink heart below. And you guys stay safe out there. I love you all. Until next time, peace.